All right. Well, I want to welcome you. We like to do a monthly podcast. When I can bring Paul in to do a podcast, I love to bring Paul in. And today we're sitting in front of a Learned Attitude of Indifference school, a mental game school.
Absolutely.
With Paul Monahan. And but what just happened a couple days ago was the U.S. Open. Wyndham Clark won the U.S. Open. I'm going to tell you guys right now. I'm going to tell you he's an OSU boy, State boy.
That's right.
Yeah, he went to Oregon last year, but he's an Oklahoma State boy, so we're going to claim him. We claim the guys.
He's ours.
He's ours.
As they say in Oklahoma.
Yeah. We weren't claiming him last year.
No.
We'll talk about that.
We will talk. That's important. Like that's part of the story, right?
Yeah, that's part of the story.
Of course.
But I think everybody here, or most people watch the U.S. Open. It's the number one tournament that's viewed in the United States. It's the number one, people all know. We can remember what happened years ago in the U.S. Open. We can, it's the tournament for us, okay? And we love when American wins. We love that. I mean,
we sort of do.
We sort of kind of do.
The Stars and Stripes.
Blue,
A lot going on right now in the Stars and Stripes world. So we're days away from a big celebration.
Yeah,
here
look, I'm wearing today.
Look at you. I don't look at. You can't see the belt is even the Stars and Stripes.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this because I'm going to tell you a couple of things. Number one is Wyndham played pretty good from start to finish. In fact, he's one of the few guys that's ever played the U.S. Open that was leading at the first round and won. Okay, so that's unique. Number one. Unique number two is if I asked you this, and I'm going to ask you the question, what do you think is the one shot during the tournament that won the tournament for him? Okay, would you have an answer for that? What do you think it is? I said, what do you think? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we've talked about the 3-wood at 16.
Yeah, 15.
15.
Yeah, the par
15.
Par 5. Yeah.
I think he was between. I didn't have a 5-wood, right, and really had to shape a shot. Mm-hmm. I think Scheffler had already hit a brilliant shot into the green at that point. Wasn't so much a factor at that point.
No, that was on day 3. That was the 3-wood he hit on that was actually in 16.
That was on 16.
3.
Okay.
He made eagle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So So on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. So tell me what. I know it's in my mind. Do you have one you think?
So I loved the putt on, was it putt on 17? 16. The putt on 16.
That's the one I think that won the tournament.
Yeah.
Because he had a one-shot lead, made the putt, went into 2-shot lead.
What was that distance? Was that 40?
Yeah, it was probably 30, 40 feet. But the crazy thing about the putt, it was up the swale, peaked out and came down. And even the announcers made the comment that most people hitting that putt, it ran away 10, 15 feet. So he could have easily 3-putted that and been tied for the lead. I mean, instead of having been in the lead. So that was a real risk-reward putt. I can tell you right now, I can promise you, 99% chance if I was over that putt in the same situation, I'd left it short. Because it was such a risk-reward putt. Because if it runs past that hole, if you watch the way it went in, it was going 10 feet by.
Well, he actually talked about that, and he said that he thought that he had actually hit it short.
Oh, really?
Thought he hit it short. And that's how slick it was, right? Like what the last sort of 8 feet, it gets really, really fast. He's like, oh man, I thought I hit it short. So one of the things that was really interesting too is like, whenever I always watch, and you can really learn a lot about what's going on mentally and emotionally on a Sunday afternoon on the back nine. And if you just watch to look for the tentative shots, like where do the tentative shots show up? And I think one of the things that Clark did really well, like I never saw that. I never saw the tentative shots.
Right.
I mean, he put a drive or two, in the right rough, and
I did. But a couple of the putts he left significantly short. Actually, 3-putted to go to a 2-shot lead versus 1-shot lead versus 2-shot lead on 15. He had the putt that he hit and came up way short of the hole. That was pretty tentative. I mean, that's the first place you see it when you're coming into a given round or the end of a round, especially if you're leading or close to the lead, is in the putting. Because you can have dramatic results. I mean, if you miss a driver, if you miss an iron, you miss a fairway, I mean, you're trying your hardest, but that happens. When you're over a 20, 30-foot putt and you realize I can run this 4 or 5 feet by, and that's a hard putt coming back, it's really easy to leave it 10 feet short. And I started seeing a little bit of that, but that wasn't criticizing him. That was normal. And he made him. He missed one, but he made him. Because that last putt in the 18th hole, they hit up there about an inch. I mean, that anybody who's been in those situations, when he's sitting up over that 30-foot putt, a 40-foot putt, I mean, you're holding your breath. Because if he leaves this thing 4, 5, 6 feet, and it's like a 20-footer, it's tough.
Even if it,
even
looks like
that 1 inch, you're thinking, can you make it?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, when the stakes rise, that's one of the big mental game dynamics is when the stakes rise, then like our brain really starts to get active.
Right.
That's when that's when tension can arrive. Well, nerves, the fear shows up and all the tension that is a function of that. So,
okay. So a couple of things I want to talk about. And I think this is really good for our class too here that I want to talk about. Here's number one is a year ago, right?
At Oakmont.
Wyndham Clark finished his round at the US Open, missed the cut. And what did he do at Oakmont?
Yeah, just beat up the locker room.
Basically destroyed the locker room.
Yeah.
He crushed in the locker, kicked in the locker, destroyed the locker, so much so that what happened at Oakmont, which is one of the most exclusive country clubs in the country. What do?
They're like, hey, buddy, you're not allowed here anymore.
Right. They basically banned him.
Yeah.
They basically said, we have a major, you aren't coming back. We don't care. You're done. So you disrespected the club as you could possibly disrespect a club. So he went in, missed the cut like half the field and kicked in lockers. And okay. So this same guy, okay, and they wrote it up and so talk a little bit because I heard what you talked about after that. I did not know this part of the story. Yeah, I hadn't heard this because that's when we weren't claiming him. that's when like, no, he went to Oregon.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's when you're like, yeah, we don't know him. Okay. That's why he transferred. Okay. But yeah, no, he literally lost his mind and destroyed destroyed part of a locker room. Okay. So
he did.
So what? Tell me right now, because there's a couple of things I want to bring up on this. When he got done and he was talking about it, he said, and this was his quote, as we'd all say.
You're talking about at the presser this week.
Yeah, no, he said right after that.
Right after. Okay, yeah.
He said, that wasn't me. And look at Paul's reaction. See that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I know.
Okay. He said, that wasn't me.
Struggling with that.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Paul, because when I brought that up to you and said, hey, that wasn't me. What's your normal response to you when I say that?
Yeah, we hear that a lot in sort of people that are in public life when they do the things they aren't supposed to do.
Right.
And they're in these places where they have to come out and say something about it. Like, all right, the PR team gets involved and they're like, look, you got to go out there and like apologize to the world and so forth. Like that's very, very common. We see that a lot. And I think it's bad advice that they get. This term, that's not me. That wasn't me. Because I think it takes responsibility away from that person, or it relieves them of their responsibility. And I think that's problematic because in life and in golf, like the games we play, like we have to have this responsibility mindset. And so we have to be able to say, that was me. That was me at my worst. I really don't want to do that very often or ever again. But look, it was me. I take responsibility. And here are the things I'm going to do. I would much rather he said that.
I want people in here to hear this because we all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it. And whether we do it now, obviously we're not on a stage like that and do it from 99% of us will never see that, but right. We all do it. No, that just wasn't me. That wasn't me. I love what he said there, that it's a responsibility mindset. No, that was you. Now, can we change? Can we try not to do it again? If we get in that same situation, can we have a different outcome? Can we, as you love to say, can we rewrite the story? You know what I'm saying?
No question. And like the Wyndham Clark story is, of course, still being written, and we know the story, and it goes back. He started working with Julie Elian a few years ago. He has struggled, and he struggled for reasons that like we could all appreciate, right? Lost his mom to cancer and didn't deal with it very well. And look, we can all we can empathize or sympathize and empathize, right? Yeah. And that said, like it's weird that he's still using that language today. And I don't want to bust on Wyndham Clark. I am so impressed with what he did. Right. But if I were sitting with him, I'd be like, hey, let's not say that anymore. Let's not say that wasn't me. Right. Let's say that was me. And I've learned and I've grown and I'm better for it. And I won't do that again.
So for the class here and for those that are listening to it at home that may not know this, because I did not know it, give a little bit of the post Oakmont story, because I didn't know about this. Talk about what they've done. So what he's done with Oakmont and what's happening. Yeah,
right. So if any of you caught the live from show on, maybe it was like Saturday, I think it was Saturday night. So it's, Paul Laurie, talking about a wetter.
Yeah.
And
Paul Laurie. Yeah.
All right. Paul Laurie, is it?
And Brandel Chambly.
Yeah. And Brandel and Rich Lerner. And Brandel's like, hey, look, I called my contact at Oakmont today because I was talking to him about Wyndham Clark. And he's like, because Wyndham Clark all week, he was getting questions about Oakmont. And yeah, it's a year removed. And like the fans are like kind of leaning on him a little bit. And like, it's still very much a story. And as Chambly tells the story on Saturday night, he's like, called this guy. And he's like, look, he goes, I can't believe they're still talking to this poor guy about this. He goes, let me tell you something. He goes, Wyndham Clark is a really, really good guy. He has done everything we would have ever wanted him to do in the aftermath of his, really, really bad day, him at his worst, right? And he's basically like, look, I just wish people would just, let go of this story. And I wish that for Wyndham.
The country club had let go of it. The people at the club had let go of it. In fact, he has made replications. He's gone into him. He's talked to him. He says, I'm sorry.
Paid for the whole thing.
He's done all kinds of stuff. But us public, we don't see that.
No.
And it's kind of a lesson learned there because they couldn't get off it. And Brandel Chambly kind of went behind the scenes and he's like, I saw it just like you did.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that was kind of interesting. The fact that the course is kind of over it, but nobody else is.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a reflection of maybe how we as a society like to consume media. Oh, we love the salacious stories and all that stuff, but I think the course is beyond it. The club has moved on. And I think in many ways, part of the story that's really good for Wyndham is he's learned how to move past it. He's learned how to move past the kind of anger, the level of anger that would come up for him that would put him in that situation where he would do that. That's I think, super
So here's
important.
another thing I want to ask you about. And this is kind of interesting. I think this relates to to our students in here even. And I know it's a different level, but I think we can all relate to it because at the end of the tournament, you saw with Wyndham, his dad was there. It was on Father's Day. And this is the second U.S. Open Wyndham's won. He hadn't won it yet, and they started showing his dad. Now, the previous one he won, his dad was not there, which was also on Father's Day. It always ends on Father's Day because he was in the hospital with open heart surgery. So his dad couldn't attend it.
Mm-hmm.
So his dad took an overnight flight to this one, flew in. Now, his whole team was there, but his dad wasn't. His team is about 15 to 20 people were there, but his dad wasn't. His dad took a red eye to get in. But his dad made a very specific point for Wyndham not to know he was there. In fact, he followed him for the back nine and hid. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did.
And they showed it on TV.
He had no idea.
They kept showing his dad. And the announcers kept saying his dad, his dad does not want him to know he's here. And even when he won and he was walking off the green, he went and saw his team, then he saw his dad. He kind of was like, oh my God. I mean, so it was very true. And you could see his eyes.
Totally.
And he hugged him for like 2 minutes. I mean, okay. So I'm going to ask you this question. Mentally, on the golf course, if he would have known his dad was there, do you think it would have affected him? Number one. Number two, why would it have affected him? So, because all of a sudden we're playing in a group with a person we like, we don't like. So we're letting exterior or outside influences affect us. Okay. Would you think it would have affected him? Do you think if he had known his dad was there, I know it's a hard question to ask, but why would it happen? Okay, so I would say let me answer it this way. If it did affect him, here's why it would have. Okay.
Because we all have people in our lives that we want to really show our best side to, which means that the other side of that coin is care about how they judge us. Right? So this concept of the way people see us and whether or not they judge us or judge us harshly. Like that's an important thing for us. We all have people in our lives for whom absolutely want to be the best in front of them. Right. Like it's one of the reasons why, if you think about for all the students here, when we show up at these schools and we're working on our game out there on the range and the coaching staff drifts back and forth. And when they stop behind us, we feel that. And we're like, oh, I want them to see my best shot, right? there's that piece of it as well. And so I think if it would have affected him, had he seen his dad, it could have triggered this idea of like, oh, I don't want to see my dad. I don't want my dad to see me lose this. I got to win this because, right? I don't want my dad to see me.
I think the father-son dynamic, which fathers and sons understand this dynamic. I mean, I'm not sure there's a bigger, stronger bond in a relationship. And I think the Oakmont issue affected his dad more than it affected him.
Oh, that's a great point.
And so I promise you, when your son does something, maybe you're embarrassed by or something you shouldn't do, does it affect the dad more or the child more? And all of a sudden he's making up for that by winning this tournament, coming out on the other end and having a wife and a mom who's died of cancer involved in this whole issue. You follow me?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, when they interviewed Sam Burns, I know Sam, they interviewed Sam in the presser afterwards. He lost by a shot, and they're talking about the losing by the shot and this, and he's talking, and you can tell he's upset. And then they brought out Father's Day. He started bawling. He started crying because he said, I want to do this for my dad. He started crying. He teared up. Yeah. He just started tearing up. He couldn't answer anymore. And he was not to that realm until they asked about Father's Day. And so you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that the dad emotion, because of the Oakmont and all this history, I think it would have been too much. I honestly, what do you want? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll never know. But I think that emotion would have been too much. And his dad knew. That's why his dad said, don't let him know I'm here. Because how many times do you think him and his dad talked about Oakmont? How many times do you think him and his dad talked about that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot. Yeah.
I mean, forget his manager, forget his staff, forget his deal, his dad. So the story with Wyndham was that, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. He wanted, when he was 8 years old or 9 years old, he wanted an Xbox so bad. He wanted, the gaming system, and his parents would not let him have a gaming system. And he said that he told his parents. And so he was 8, 9, or 10. And they said, we're not giving you a gaming system. We don't believe in it. We don't have one. And he was playing golf. And so finally his dad, like all good dads do, bribed him and said, if you make an eagle, the first time you make an eagle on the golf course, I'll give you a gaming system. And at 10 years old, he made a hole in one. And it was on film. Believe it or not, it was on film. You guys can look it up on the internet. He makes a one. His dad goes, you made a one. And Wyndham goes, I got an Xbox. He couldn't have cared less. He made a one. He had an Xbox.
That's so good.
So here's a classic father-son.
Yeah, that is so good. Yeah. And that is that's a great point. Like that would have been a tough emotion to work through if he had known that his dad was on the course. Absolutely.
So let's end this one. I know this is going to be a little quicker one. Let's end this real quick. So give some advice. So this is the advice I'd like you to give. So we're here with a group of students, and there'll be thousands of people that watch this, and we go play a round of golf. Okay. And typically when we play a round of golf with people we enjoy, it's pretty easy to play. We're talking in between, we're having fun, we're talking whatever, we're talking about the kids, the dinners, whatever, we're just enjoying ourselves. But we do get paired with people that at times, maybe a hole into it or a couple holes into it, or maybe before it starts, we don't really enjoy them. They're just, we're not going to say we hate them, but we don't enjoy them. So how do you get through that? So give them some advice, because this is very common. How do you get through that? What do you do? All
right. So one of the most powerful things we can experience on the course is I call them the bandits that get in our way. This is the mental interference that prevents us from being our best when we play on the course. And this has been talked about in human psychology for a long time. I have a new way of sort of thinking about it, at least my way, right? So I think this mental interference as bandits, right? And one of the most powerful is the bandit of fear. And what replaces fear is something that I really want to talk about, I think, and to answer your question. And it's this concept of love, appreciation, gratitude, love for the moment, passion for the moment, thankfulness for being in this moment, right? But the love part is also important as well, because we can shift our thinking about the human being that's very close to us. And one of the most powerful things, and I'd invite anybody to try this, is the next time you're in a competitive space, you're playing in the Saturday morning money match, or you're in the club championship, or you're playing in an Am Tour event, whatever your jam is, right?
And I think this is also, you just go out and playing around the golf and you get paired with somebody, and
yes,
we're all kind of competitive.
Yes, that's a great point.
We are. I mean, you don't want to be looking bad to that person, but so it doesn't necessarily have to be a tournament.
No, you show up at the Tuesday night shamble, and you're paired with this guy. Oh man, and he's got his music with him, or whatever, right? Way to get past that is to this sounds crazy, but it's to shift to how much can I pour out love and appreciation for that person.
Look at me and always laugh because like, oh, good luck.
I know.
But no, honestly, I think I'm pretty good at this because I mean, when I'm out there with them and even it's a person I don't like or whatever, and I'm never going to say I don't hate anybody, but there's just a lot of things with this characteristic of this person that I don't get along with.
Yes.
I'm typically going overboard saying, good shot, nice draw. I like that. That was good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're good. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping them look for golf balls, whatever it is, where you can just shut that thing off and turn it off the opposite direction.
You totally can. Yeah. And I didn't know you were going to talk about this today. But do you remember this years ago at one of the alumni schools in Orlando? This is when I started talking about this. And the group were like, oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. The joke was guys and gals were walking around like telling each other how much they love them. And like one of the things I was like, look, spend some time, find something in that person who you're near and that you can appreciate, and then tell them how much you appreciate it. Like, okay, I like your shirt. I love your shirt. So like for the rest of the week, it was like, oh, I love your shirt. Like it's silly stuff like that. But the point is that we actually have a choice. Have a choice of how we're going to interact with that person mentally and emotionally. And I get it that counter some people that we genuinely like, I don't like that person, or I've been around that person enough to know that I really hate them. Okay. There's a saying that says, you might have heard this, and it was somebody, I think this was a century or two ago, like, I have to figure out who it was, but saying goes something like, I really don't like that person. I must get to know them.
Love it.
And I'm telling you, if your problem on the course tomorrow is the person you're playing with, then you don't know them well enough. And if you endeavor to get to know them and, dare I say, love them a little bit, that dynamic completely changes.
I know I can give you an experience for me. We talk about this a lot, but it's been a little over a year ago, or about a year ago now. I was playing in a tournament. It was one of my section events, not a big tournament, but one. Yeah. And we get our pairings about 4 days before the event. And I saw it and I remember looking, I'm paired with him. I mean, and if there's 100 people in the event, there's one person I didn't want to be paired with, and I was, and another person. Yeah. And believe it or not, when I got to the event, they pair us in the carts. I'm riding with him. I was just praying I'd be riding with at least the other guy. I was like, oh my gosh. And he's driving. Okay. So I was just like could not be worse. Okay. And I remember, but we'd had this conversation, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to be very proactive in this. And I'm going to try to figure out, because we're going to be out there for 4 hours, maybe 4.5 in this tournament. We're going to be sitting in a cart together 90% of the time. We are. Because you ride the shot, you go shot. We're sitting away in the tee, you're sitting in the cart, you don't stand up on the tee, you're waiting. Yeah, okay.
Of course. Yeah.
And I said, and I can just sit there and hate life out here. And I can guarantee it's going to affect my game. Okay. Or I can try to figure out something to survive this. Okay. Some people would have put their bag on the other cart. Okay. But I was like, no, I'm going to try to survive this. Okay. And I remember sitting there thinking from this talk, what could we talk about today? And I also remember that he had a junior golfer son that played a lot of golf that he was very proud of. Okay. And so I remember on the second hole, we're going up our second shot. And I remember going up there saying, how's your son's golf game going? How's he doing? And I remember him turning towards me, like almost like, really can't believe you're asking me that. And for the rest of the 18 holes, guess what we talked about? Tournaments his son was playing, where he's going to play, how he's hitting it, how they go out, and they go on Tuesday night. And I remember they go on Tuesday night and they play a little match against each other. And I think his son was like 12 or 13. And it was one of the most enjoyable rounds. And he could not wait to get back to the cart and ride with me to talk about his son. Could not wait. It just changed the whole dynamics.
Heck.
And I mean, and I literally the entire time listened about his son, you know what I'm saying? Which was fine with me. I mean, it was a great conversation. I didn't need to sit there and talk about anything else. It was fun. Yeah. I actually enjoyed it.
How did what you experienced show up in your game?
Oh, but really no. I beat him by about 10-1. And this guy's a really good player. No, I mean, there's no question. I mean, that's why one of the reasons I remember it, but no, it was a very enjoyable round. And the other dynamic that's changed now, this was very interesting, is that this gentleman is known for not being fun to play with. So when you're playing with other people, like, oh man, you got paired with so-and-so, you know what I'm saying? And they'll say it. Yeah. And I will actually now say, man, I like it. I enjoy it. I mean, I literally will tell them I have no problem playing with them. I enjoy it. You know, it's kind of interesting. It is. Yeah. Yeah.
I was having a conversation earlier today. You know, we're in a room full of like really brilliant people, super accomplished. And I love this environment. But it's hard. It's hard for people in this room that are so smart and talented and have achieved so much to really believe that it could be this simple. Like, wait a minute, I just got to, channel my inner love for this person. It's that simple.
Right.
It can be that simple. Crazy.
So while we're sitting here, just real quick, because we're about to end this, anybody in here have any comments or anything, any questions or anything you want to ask Paul? If you do, I will restate it so that they can hear it. Anything, any comments, any questions, anything? Don't be quiet. Anything? Guys, what do you think about that? Did you guys do that? Did you turn that? You got a real slow group ahead of you that you want to kill looking right at you. Could you love that group? That'd be really hard. Okay. But maybe the love and appreciation comes in somewhere else. Like, I love being out here today. I'm enjoying this. Maybe there's a lot worse places I could be. Maybe use it as a challenge and say, hey, I go play in a tournament next month. It's going to take 5 hours. Maybe this is a little practice for me to get used to that. You follow me here? Because the last thing I want to go do is play in an hour and a half and go play a 4.5 hour tournament and freak out because there's nothing you can do when everybody sits there and starts counting them all and taking drops and pulling in rules officials and whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So things slow down. So maybe just that one day. It doesn't have, if it happened all the time, it's another story. Maybe just that one day, kind of redo the story, redo the picture. I mean,
total reframe. I love that.
Yeah, reframe it.
I love that. Rick.
Yeah, Rick. What Rick is asking is that he's asking if Paul could probably help one of our students.
I think he said publicly.
Yeah, publicly. But okay, publicly help our students deal with slow play on the golf course. But Rick's exactly right, because it's one of, I'll be honest with you. If you talk to, I don't have Brad in here, but you talk to any head pro, and Brad was a head pro for almost 20 years. Yeah, he's a head pro here now, but he was a head pro for 20 years at country clubs. And the number one issue they deal with, that's the problem they deal with, is when people start complaining about slow play. Because it's a massive problem when you got to go out to the other member on the course or the other person who's paid a green fee and start telling them, hey, we got a problem with you. You follow me here? Well, it's not my problem. It's so-and-so's problem. You guys follow me here? So you become the dad, you become the mom, you become the authority figure. And it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Now I brought Brad in here right now. He'd be like, because it's a very difficult situation. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Mm-hmm. 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 Good. It would be a good masterclass. Talk about how to deal with those. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this afternoon, actually, and the way we react to things on the golf course. In fact, we're about to just talk about that.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate your time like normal.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah,
so
all right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.